Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative. We do Taylor Handley about season 2 of Mayor of Kingstown on Paramount Plus. Welcome to the show, man. Thanks so much for being here.
PD Beats, what's up?
Not much, man. I'm excited to chat with you. I'm curious. It always gets me curious mindsets when you return for a season 2 after a pretty popular season 1. Are you focused on a lot of different things, including your character, what your character is up to, just the storyline? Like, what's the mindset for coming back to work for season 2?
A good question, man. I just, there was so much excitement coming back in for season 2. You want to know. We left season 1 with such a bang. We ended season 1 with such a bang. You know, the 2 episodes of the prison riot come in, and you're like, where do these characters stand now? And I'm happy to say that we're picking up 3 to 4 weeks after the prison riots, and now we're dealing with all the fallout from the prison riots. And this season, what I think is so great is that you know the characters now you really get to go on a journey with each and every one of them, and you deal with their shit as they're dealing with their own stuff, you know?
It's the set, absolutely, because like, you've never seen these characters before, right? And then you're trying to figure it out. But I think that the season 1 did a very good job of there's a balance. Like, we got to know these characters, but then it was like, okay, buckle up. Like, we're not wasting that much time either, which is interesting.
Yeah, it was, season 1 was a great introduction. It introduced you to all the characters, and you well, I mean, it was more than an introduction. I mean, you really started getting, everybody gets dragged through the mud in season 1, raked over the coals. But now that you know them a little bit more, so you want to be with them a little bit more. And what I think they did so great with, season 2, episode 1 is that, they just set up the season so good. You're gonna see so much of the fallout and everything that everybody deals with. It really is great.
Taylor Handley is a storyteller. You've been doing this for a good amount of time. You worked on a lot of incredible genres. So I'm interested to see how you're going to answer this question, Taylor. But was there something with this project specifically that you were excited about because this was maybe something character-wise or storyline-wise that you didn't have a chance to work on in the past? Was there anything with Mayor of Kingstown that was kind of new to you? I'm just curious about that.
2 things that excited me when I saw the script for Kingstown. Written and directed by Taylor Sheridan, starring Jeremy Renner.
I can read your mind. I knew you. Yeah, I can read your mind. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, I mean, like that's enough to make you go, just stop the presses. Like this is everything. This is everything I want to do, because I know and I knew, working with Taylor, that he tells the stories the way he wants to tell the stories, and he does them so masterfully, and the final product is always good. And so you know that your performance that you do is in his great capable hands. And working with him, you're working with the winning team. And then you put Jeremy Renner on top of it. I was talking about this earlier. The man is a master at what he does. Like, if you watch him in the scenes, and I have this thing where when I'm watching a scene, I can kind of see it on the page as they're talking, right? I don't know. I just see the script page while they're talking, and the way that Jeremy delivers everything. I mean, the man is incapable of telling an untruth or saying an untruthful piece of dialogue. I mean, he really embodies his character, and it's wonderful to act with him. And it's just wonderful to see and learn from him as well.
Absolutely. I love hearing about the learning experiences because no matter how many, I mean, you've gotten to work with a lot of incredible actors, and I feel like the learning experiences will never, ever stop. Ever.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's an art form. Like, acting is an art form, as much as people want to debate that. It is. And really, when you dedicate your life to it, you have to constantly be trying new stuff, trying, failing, succeeding, it's this never ending thing.
Will you work on something like Mayor of Kingstown where the audience member is a detective? Because I love watching shows like this where you're kind of strapped in as an active kind of audience member, and you feel like you're part of the show in a lot of ways. Like, we're trying to figure things out and you're in for the ride. Do you start thinking about that at all? Like, I'm just curious, because you're going, you shoot it, you rap, and like maybe you're not thinking about what the audience is gonna be in for, but like, does that ever happen to you that you think like, wow, this is pretty cool that I'm on a show where like the audience needs to be kind of an active member, not passive, where he's really kind of like he or she is dialed in and like figuring things out? I'm curious about that a little bit.
I mean, it's hard not to be when you're watching this show. I mean, it's hard not to be engaged. It's like, because the amount of stuff this show is throwing on the audience's plate is like, it's a lot to digest. I mean, just, episode 1 on season 2. I mean, you got the gang member jumping on top of the car, unloading his clip, opening the sunroof, throwing a pit bull inside, and the pit bull goes to town on the other. I mean, that's how you're going to kill a gang member in the first episode. I mean, it's hard not to be engaged. I mean, it's so visceral. It's so vivid. It's just, you can't, blink,
Yeah, you can't blink. Do you see everything as storytelling? Because, like you look at, Texas Chainsaw, you look at this, you look at like Hidden Palms. Like, is that all storytelling, or were you like, did you have different mindsets for different projects specifically, or was it all storytelling for you?
Great question. It's really evolved through the years. I started when I was 13 years old. I've been doing this since I was 13, 25 years, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's just like sections through my life where I viewed this job differently. Yeah. I can tell you within the last, I don't know, probably 7, 8, 9, 10 years, I really did view it as storytelling. It was really subjective beforehand. Now it's very objective, where I really just want to service the story. I'm doing just my small part of the story, and that's what I'm focusing on. I just want to be a good team player. Yeah. Whereas that was different when I was younger, or I didn't really have that mentality or was mature enough to understand that.
It's like stepping stone work at the same time as kind of learning as much as you go. Was Jack Frost one of your first movies?
It was my first movie.
That was your first movie. Wow.
It was my third audition. I had a Starburst commercial audition. I remember the line. It was like, you got to say, who's Einstein? So who's Einstein? Right? That was it. And then it was a Nintendo 64 audition. You remember Nintendo 64. And then it was Jack Frost. It was the third audition.
You're in my favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. You didn't say it. I did. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Right on, bro.
You didn't say it. I said it, right? I'm just saying. I love what they did with that. Origin. I love that whole thing. But before we wrap up, getting back to Mayor of Kingstown, I mean, what is something that you were really excited for, specifically storyline wise? Maybe not with your character, without spoiler, storyline for season 2 that you can't wait for people to dial in and see on Paramount Plus this season.
It's really the fallout. I mean, I knew that it was going to be something big, something huge. Just in general, the story coming off of the prison riots and what we're doing, but what my character goes through this season was really, I mean, it's all over the place. It's like a shotgun blast.
It's nuts.
It's sporadic, and it doesn't stop.
No,
like the intensity.
That's what you want, though. Like, you want that. That's
what I'm interested in.
Like, you want that. I'm not saying like we love the slow burns and everything, but like the 0 to 100, then it keeps staying at 100.
Yeah,
that's what I want, man. That's what that's what I want.
That's what I'm interested in. That's what those are the shows that I like. They keep me on the edge of my seat. They keep me engaged, and that's what this show does in spades.
I mean, your storyline with the OC did that for a lot of people too. I'm just saying.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, 20 years later, I'm still getting death threats. You know what I mean?
It's like, that show was like the talk of the town. All the after hockey practice, we'd be like, "Okay, a new episode of OC." That was a thing back in the day. Different with the streaming.
Agreed. It was the same for me. Yeah. I was a fan of that show, and thankfully I got to do it. It was a good show.
Taylor, thank you so much for your time. New episodes of Mayor of Kingstown on Paramount Plus. It was really awesome chatting with you, man. Thank you so much for your time.
BDBs, thanks, bud.
No problem.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.